This video documents how the Sacramento River and Lake Siskiyou have changed between the 15th and the 28th. On the 26th, a small amount of water was coming over the dam, and I looked up the definition of a full lake, and it's when the lake is level with the spillway. The lake level can get a little bit higher. More on this at the end of the video. And we are supposed to have snow coming in a few hours, I hope, as in not right now. All right, we've kind of come across the flats here that will be mostly underwater if the lake fills. And we are now starting back up the trail and heading back. I took a short video from here yesterday, and it's been snowing just a little bit last night and this morning. We're kind of at that breakover where a lot of it's been rain. Anyway, we're seeing these same kind of flat areas now with a little bit of snow on them. And of course, this whole flat area you see right here is underwater when the lake gets full. Oh boy, it's beautiful. Mt Shasta in the winter. Look at the snowflakes coming down. It's just unusually pretty this morning. Got those mountains reflected in the lake. The lake is just hardly any ripples on it whatsoever. Very nice. Actually getting a little blue sky up there. We're just moving around the lake. We're gonna try to get to the river. And that new map we saw, this was what they would call the delta straight across there. Makes sense. Hey, Kash, what do you say? Okay, we're actually walking now on what the new maps we're looking at that have been posted around this trail. It's called the delta. Well, this is where the Sacramento River comes into the lake, and calling it the delta area is entirely appropriate. I mean, this is a river delta coming into the lake. So we're looking at a 1960 and a 1930 topo map for this area this morning on Gaia. I'm not going to try to put that into my videos because I know Gaia is okay with screenshots on YouTube, but I don't know when you use other maps. There could be copyright issues. But this whole area in here was dry. I mean, it was maybe a little bit marshy. The river actually flowed through a little bit on the extreme right edge of the lake. And it wasn't until they built the dam that we had a lake here. There was no natural lake. It was probably swampy, but it was not a lake in 1930. Tuesday, day before Christmas. And we thought we were just gonna, it's been dry across there, we could just walk it yesterday. And I don't know how many inches of rain we got last night, but we got a lot, and ground saturated. And so this little side channel of the Sacramento, this is not the Sacramento River at all, it's just usually dry. That water came up to us too high for us to get across. Can't even try to hop across on the rocks, just too much water going over it. And our delta, I'll bet that lake has come up quite a bit.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. That's the whole deal, is the lake's come up. The lake is,
Well, if that still wouldn't have so much water in it.
you don't think it kind of backs up?
Partly. But there's so much flowing, it still would have been impossible. You want to go down far enough to see our little point? We're not that far from it. This is the highest water level we've seen since last spring for Lake Siskiyou. Straight ahead of me was where that sitting log was, and it is gone. I can't even see any sign of it. First time that's been totally erased. This is where the rocky point went way out there, and we're long past that stage. This is where we had a little inlet that was mostly dry. And I'm looking at the shore over there, trying to figure out where the high water mark is. I'll zoom in some. So kind of make your own call on this, but we're very close to the high water mark anyway. Close enough it's possible. We got water going over the spillway. Sacramento River's coming in over there where we wanted to walk over to it, but on this side of the river, where the first set of bridges are, it's been dry where you could just walk across it, but no, it had a lot of water going across it today. So that's where the river comes in. Zoom in as much as I can. And that river is quite high right now. It is December 26th, Thursday, day after Christmas, 2024, and I think the lake is full. I think it's at the high water mark. I think our sitting log is out in front of us. It's floated away from our point. Point is right over there. And wow, things have changed. The Sacramento River's coming in over there. The delta is kind of right in front of us, and at this point the delta seems like it's totally submerged. Okay, this is the Sacramento River Delta coming into the lake, and still not positive that it's a high water mark. If it isn't, it's got to be within inches of it. Looking at the lake across the other side. I mean, can you see a higher mark than where the water is right now? I don't think so. We are going to have to make a spillway check when we come back after this walk, and that'll tell us if it's over the spillway, and at that point the lake is full. Okay, there's a little water going over the spillway, very little, but that is enough to legitimately call this lake full. Now it can't be going over a lot higher, you know, I mean it could wind up being 6 or 8 inches over the top of the spillway, and then you see a big slug of water going over, but that lake is right even with it now. Okay, you know, the water is just barely going over the spillway, but this point where Joline is standing, we have seen this a couple inches underwater, and it looks like it would have to come up at least another foot, maybe a little more, to actually be over that. So I know it's just barely going over the spillway right now, but that means it has been going over the spillway over a foot or more at times, and that this lake can get higher. The spillway is the limiting factor on how high it can get, but it can get over the spillway for a fair amount also. This is where the Siskiyou Lake Trail, or Lake Siskiyou Trail, whatever, would normally cross the Sacramento River. Trail's right in front of me, and that's where a temporary bridge would be. The temporary bridge would go to the other side, right about where it looks like that other creek, which is really just a bifurcation of the river, comes in. And you know, when you get into the summer, it's dry over there, and the river is a whole lot lower. Here is the same spot in August of 23.